Good afternoon, it's the Civil Savage 76, otherwise known as Rex Knickerbocker. Today I want to discuss something a little bit different with you all. Has a little bit to do with me, a personal little deep dive. I'm going to discuss to you today what it means to come from something known as old money. And what is old money exactly? Well, it doesn't necessarily include wealth itself. What it is wealth that has been in this country for generations upon generations. So I grew up in a lower middle class home, but on the weekends, my life was far, far different with respect to socioeconomic status. I have some very high profile people in my family, namely my great-grandfather, which I've discussed a little bit before. And growing up, I had these opportunities, you could say, to enroll in private school, go to Milton Academy High School, which is probably one of the most snootiest high schools in the entire country. And my grandmother on my mother's side had the strings to pull to get me into Milton Academy. I had some friends in public school. I enjoyed my life as an ordinary boy. And there were a lot of issues early on because when you come from an old money family, namely you have old money grandparents that have a townhouse in Wellesley, townhouse in Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, where I grew up going. A $7.2 million waterfront manor in Gloucester, Massachusetts, in a community known as Eastern Point. I've existed around this network, you could say, of people who you'll never meet unless you're born into the necessary networks to know those people. So while I grew up white trash on one hand, on another hand, I was around, like my grandparents were members of the Brookline Country Club. They turned Tom Brady down. You know what they said to Tom Brady? You can take your new money and you can walk right out of here because we don't need your money. And that's what old money is. It's not a celebrity or a rock star or an athlete. What it is very quiet money that has been well established long before I was born, or you were born, presumably. And my whole life, my grandmother tried to entice me with the supposed virtues of academic excellence. And she wanted me to go to Kaplan and take these SAT preps. I never took the SATs. I never planned to. I told my grandmother very early on that I had zero intentions of attending college. But then I did, and I had a 3.8 at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, without even trying, and often under the influence of drugs and alcohol. I was carrying 5 courses, all of which were no less than a 200 level course. And I maintained a 3.8 grade point average for shits and giggles. And then I dropped out because I knew what I wanted, and it wasn't college. I had a very promising set of career goals with respect to mixed martial arts. That didn't work out. They found out I had a heart condition that I never knew about until the age of 23. I used college sort of as a stepping stone while I did my rigorous training in Framingham, Massachusetts, under some very respectable fighting names. Then when it came to the diagnosis, that was the death of my intrinsic purpose in life, I personally felt. I either wanted to be a force recon Marine or I wanted to be an MMA fighter. And both of those things were fairly reachable, given some of my statures with respect to physicality and athletic performance. So while that was all executed, shot, and put in a ditch, I had a grandmother that was right there when I had the diagnosis and consoled me and said, "Oh, don't worry, you're going to be a very rich person. You're going to be a very rich man. You're gonna look back on this one day, and you're gonna be talking at some investor symposium or luncheon about how you lost your heartfelt career to a heart condition. And she was already just painting this fucking picture like, I'm just gonna follow in my aristocratic English Rothschild footsteps, and I'm just gonna forget all about it because I'm gonna have money and